Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yes, sir. Mr. Content is back. Clap it up some more. We're not letting the content game stop. We're not stopping, baby. You know what I mean? This your boy Rolex. Clap it up for me one more time. You know what I mean? We in the building. We live. We direct. We coming at you. You know what I mean? With that extra content. You know what I mean? I said I was stopping for the rest of the year as far as my normal 2 podcasts that I do per week. But this is the video that everyone has been waiting for. You know what I mean? All my friends look at me as, you know what I mean, sort of as a music guide. Or not even a guide, a guide in music, a music guide. You know what I mean? They look forward to hearing my reviews of music. I believe that I have a great ear for music, so clap it up for my ears. And what I set out to do with this list, if you don't know by the title, these are the top 22 albums of 2022. What I set out to do, I did set out to insert some sort of personal bias, not all the way bias, because I don't want this to be like, damn, nigga, this is just clearly your list. But it is my list. It is my list, but I hold myself to a certain standard, a certain elevated pedigree when it comes to the best of the best music. It just cannot be just what I like the most. It has to be something that affected the culture the most. You might see certain albums on this that were affected by not being widespread throughout the culture. So their grading will put them on a lower level. But I do take into account that this is just not my personal list. If I wanted to be the best list, I got to think about what really touched the culture and the entire music industry. But one thing is, I had to listen to this music in order for you to be on my list. There's probably a lot of people that did not make this list, but did very well for themselves this year. But if I didn't listen to it, if I didn't get a chance to live with it for a while, it don't make the cut, unfortunately. And that's just the way it is. I got my judge sounds out. It's Judge Rolex right now. We judging these albums. And I think we can go ahead and hop into it. You know what I mean? Make some noise. What's number 22? Ooh. Herbert. Number 22. Ab-Soul. Excuse me. So what I'm going to say about this album, and hopefully each review of as I go further throughout this list, it gets a little bit more in depth. But this one barely made the cutoff. Not because it was a bad album, but it did come out at the end of December. So it wasn't really much time for me to live with this album. But I was excited from my initial first listen. It gave me everything that I needed, but a little bit too much of what I needed for just a couple weeks of listening. Ab-Soul, if you aren't familiar with him, he's a very high level skillsman when it comes to his lyricism. You know what I mean? And it wouldn't be any justice if I was to really judge his album off of just a couple weeks. He's saying stuff that's going way over my head. Now, I will not be doing anybody any justice by saying, like, yeah, this is a classic. But it does sound good. It sounds good. It's good quality TDE music. Let me see some standouts. One of the standouts, gotta do better. Let's see here. Ab-Soul. And I'm going to go through Spotify and see which songs really stand out to me. But, yeah, Do Better stands out. It's just really that classic TDE texture. I felt that. You know what I mean? Back when Kendrick was doing mixtapes, that was that same feeling that I got from Do Better. Another one, Moon Shooter, probably the best beat on there. Um, my favorite personal, and then Gangnam. So with that being said, those are the ones that really stood out to me. I liked the whole album on a first initial like run through, but didn't really get to dig deep into it. But you know what I mean? Clap it up for Ab Soul, number 22 on top 22 of 22. What's next? SZA. This is some shots for SZA. And very similar to Ab Soul. This was a very late entry as far as the year is concerned, so I can't honestly, I can't put it as one of the top albums of this year if it barely lived in this year. Like I have to have memories with this music before I'd be like, oh man, that was my favorite shit. Again, just like the Ab Soul, this was a great first initial listen. The first run through, I didn't have anything bad to say about it, but nothing necessarily good or different. It wasn't very thought provoking, or if it was just any kind of window into what SZA's life is, it would just prove that she might be a little basic. And I don't want to think that about SZA. I don't want to think that just off of, listening to your album for a couple of weeks. Standouts on that, definitely. My favorite song is definitely Far. Clap it up for Far. Far, Kill Bill is great. And what I did, I said this was corny when I saw somebody else do it. I was like, what I started doing is just making a playlist of the songs that I really like. I initially thought that would be kind of corny because I do like to get caught off guard by songs that I don't necessarily like at first. So if I got a song that I really fuck with and I keep running that shit back, eventually it's gonna skip over to that next song, and I might like that next song. But one of the things I do have to discredit SZA with is that the amount of songs on here, and then just the ratio of the songs that I like versus the ones that I don't. If you do like a percentage, I may be just like only 50% of this album, and that's taking into account to the songs that came out years ago, like Good Days and I Hate You. So she does get some kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? She's just getting discredited for the amount of songs and then the amount of songs that we've already heard. But I will go back to this album. I will wait till summer or spring to really just dig deep into it a little bit more. But clap it up for SZA. Beautiful, beautiful album. Needs more time in the crock pot. Yes, sir. Again, like, comment, subscribe, do as you please. But again, do it for me. It's your boy Rolex. We're going to move into the number 20 album of this year. Comment out there. Is my list fucked up so far? Right now, I got two of the best albums at the bottom of the list, just strictly because they came out later. That's not to discredit these albums, because these are probably the ones that I really liked the most was Herbert and SOS, but I'm talking about living with stuff. So we're going to move forward. Number 20, we got DaBaby and YB, Young Boy NBA. Clap it up for them. And this is where the list, we get a couple of wobblers in there. You know what I mean? The list, again, is based off of stuff that I really listen to. This was a solid entry from DaBaby during a time where he's being blackballed. During a time where he was getting a lot of slack for working with NBA YoungBoy because of any kind of street politics. And then numbers-wise, this didn't even do that well. for him to reach across those street lines. But of course, great songs. One of my standouts is definitely "Hit." "Hit" was crazy. Hard ass beat to start the album out. I can't go wrong with that. It's that and "Bestie" that do it for me. "Neighborhood Superstar" is a good one as well, but "Bestie," that's gonna be one of them ones right there. So clap it up for them. Like I'm letting you know right now, the list is very much mid. I ain't gonna front. We gonna get up to the Kush. Clap it up for them. So number 19, we got East Atlanta Monster, Young Nudie. Clap it up. And Nudie, he's always gonna be, I would say, an underdog. He's mad consistent, but a nigga don't be talking about shit. But I would say that this effort, this project was some of his most cohesive work as of yet. And then the beat selection is always going to be crazy with Nudie. You know what I mean? I wish I could play this for you, but Young Nudie. And then as I sit here and look at this might have been a little bit lower on my list if I had any other things to really put in there. If I had more time with that SZA album or that Absol album, this one wouldn't rank as high. But the rules are the rules. The rules are the rules. Clap it up for Young Nudie. Now we're moving on. We're moving on. Baby King. For this album, I feel like I would be just a little bit too old head or just out of the loop to not include this album. Will I say that Baby Keem is an industry plant and had everything given to him when it comes to his position in the music game? I won't say that. But it does kind of go into my whole mindset of listening and really caring about this album. It's like you're kind of skipping the line when your cousin is Kendrick Lamar. You know what I mean? Heavy Kendrick influence on this album as far as like sounds, and Kendrick's on the album. And then you're the only artist on Kendrick's label. I'm pretty sure that it's not going to be the hardest. It's not too much yellow tape that you have to cut through. But from what I heard, music matches where you probably should be, as far as like a new artist. If any other new artist came out was this good of music, it'd be like, all right, well, this is your spot. You deserve it. Clap it up for Baby King. Big Lotto. Big Lotto. Damn, Lotto got all the applause. I would say Lotto, this was one of my very good listens. Like when you talk about like a clean listen, and I ain't talking about like clean as in language, but I didn't feel bad or I didn't feel negative listening to your album. I felt very much like, damn, she can fucking rap. She can rap her ass off. She can sing. That was my introduction to your singing voice. I didn't know that you could sing. I knew you could rap. I knew you were a beautiful black queen, but I didn't know that you could put together such a great body of work. So let's go into her. Let's see here, Lotto. Lotto, and then is Lotto an industry plant? No, I don't think so, but she got some big ass features for a debut album. You know what I mean? You got Childish Gambino, Lil Wayne, Lil Durk, 21 Savage, Nardo Wick, Kodak Black. But the biggest thing was Lotto held her own on the songs even without the features. You know what I mean? Definitely one of the Song of the Year candidates is Big Energy. Um, with over 200 million plays on Spotify alone. So I can't say that Lotto. I can't say that I really lived with this album like this was my shit, but I did like this album. I really enjoyed just the good energy that she gave off and just proved that she can rap. I like when women can prove that they can rap, or just if I don't know too many female albums that I can get all the way through these days, but her album was a very easy listen. It wasn't like, oh, my pussy, my pussy, my pussy, my pussy. So clap it up for Lotto. Big Lotto shots. Breezy. Clap it up for Breezy. Breezy in the building. We talking about, man, legendary run. I don't know when Chris Brown officially started dropping these 30-song albums, but that's just a level of work ethic that we haven't seen before, and I don't think we'll ever will see it again. Because it is a tad bit oversaturated. You know what I mean? Again, this is not an album that I really lived with. When it first came out, I definitely was just hitting shuffle on this shit. Just shuffle. And this is not music that you listen to with your headphones. This is music that something got to be going on, or you got to be ready to be getting into something. Like, it's good pregame music. I'd say even good party music, like for the official party. But this is loud speaker music. So to each his own. I maybe was not just in the settings for this at all times. But if I go back through this, there's a lot of sleeper hits on this album. And it's just the law of averages really working out for Chris Brown. He's putting in that effort. He's putting in that work. And it's clear to see that he is very talented. One knock I could put on this is that just judging from what other people say, they say it might sound a lot alike. You know what I mean? Like Chris Brown found that one beat and just stuck with it. But I won't say that. It's just honest observation that I see from the people. So I can't personally put that against him, but Breezy was a great effort. I will say that Chris Brown is well overdue for a nice petite album. Like a Thriller. Like Thriller was 9 songs. I want a Thriller from Chris Brown. All these shits is hard and it leaves you wanting more. I think these 30 songs albums is like, all right, nigga, we got enough. Thanks, Chris. But I think he should really just lock in and make the cream of the crop Kush for a good 9-song album. Because that's going to do more in the long run than just saturating the market with a bunch of hits. I mean, it's no losing for Chris Brown, so it's not like that he's oversaturating with a bunch of boo boo. Like, these are some good ass songs. So clap it up for him, man. Oh man, number 16, Chris Brown, Breezy. Oh, excuse me. And then he was gearing up for like a Christmas album. I don't know if the Christmas album came out, but he was going through his beats and he clicked on the This Christmas folder. You know what I mean? If you say Chris Brown got a particular sound, he definitely does have a particular Christmas sound. And that nigga was about to get in that bag. Move forward, DJ Khaled. DJ Khaled. Oh man. I would say this is another great listen. And we're moving into some of the albums that I really took time to vibe out to. Whether it be like on a midnight release, which is kind of rare these days for me. excuse me, I'm not really staying up till midnight to um, catch your vibe because honestly, I be tired. And I want to be like my first impression of your album is that I'm tired. I stayed up all night for this, and I'm just trying to get through it. I don't want that to be the first impression all the time. Some albums I will stay up and listen to, and this was one. I did listen to this one when it dropped on midnight. I did vibe out. Um, it's very much just another one of those party playlist albums where you can hit shuffle or just pick out the songs that you like. That's one good thing that DJ Khaled does. He's gonna put together the songs with the people that make the most sense and the beats that are the hardest, hard beats. Like, clap it up for "Let's Pray," one of my favorite songs. And yeah, and this just look like a fun album. I need to go back and listen again because they gotta use this gospel remix with Eminem. God did the actual song. Man, come on, man. DJ Khaled was not playing this time. Unfortunately, I would say that it didn't really last that long as far as like the hype from this album, or just like it wasn't much replay value outside of the songs that I just like. It wasn't like, damn, I need to throw in that DJ Khaled album and just vibe out to the whole shit. It was none of that, unfortunately. So that's my only knock. But number 15 is a great spot for the album. Great spots. Number 14, 070 Shake. Oh 70. Man, what am I supposed to say about this album? Because this was very much just like a vibe out album. And I imagine that if I was doing some cocaine or just any kind of drugs this year, this album would have been a lot higher. It very much was just like a sound font. And I owe of that. I credit a lot of that with Mike Dean's contribution to this as an engineer. It just sounded like the most full music. A lot of synthesizers. It felt very full and breezy. No pun intended, but it was breezy. You know what I mean? When you on that shit and the windows roll down and the perfect breeze hit you, that's exactly how this feels. Can't Kill Me, 070 Shake. When I would say I'm going to go back into, probably after this video, I'm going to get drunk and listen to that. Because I ain't on no drugs, but this would be like just that perfect night when you out with somebody you just met, or just like, it's hard to describe. Oh, Swizzy's food just went off. It's hard to describe, but check it out. Clap it up. "13, Gonna Wanna," clap it up. DS Forever. DS Forever, Gonna Wanna. This was a lot higher on my list. It was just the real definition of a wobbler. I don't know. The more I think about this whole YSL situation, it's very hard for me to be like, oh man, I could just still listen to this nigga. But when I listened to this album, this was a really good album. It's had major hits, probably some of the first big hits of this year. Pushin' P, Powell with Drake. Like, Gunna did his thing on his album. Standouts. What is this shit? Let me look it up. Hold on one second. How You Did That. Kodak Black. You know what I mean? Another hit. Mop. Poochie Gown. this is where we get into a different territory when it comes to the best albums of this year. This was a really good album. Um, and I'm gonna just ignore all that street shit because I ain't got nothing to do with me. That was one thing that I learned from this year. I when I found out about that Tory Lanez verdict, I was just very glad to just not be Tory Lanez. And then like with the Gunna shit, it's like I'm glad that I'm not in no situation where niggas got question if I snitch. I feel very great about that. So I don't think I should be punishing Gunna for whatever he did. I don't care. Clap it up for Gunna. Nigga. But the shots can't miss. Man. This might go down as one of the most legendary albums of this year, just far as like, I wouldn't say that it was necessarily cryptic, but it was just like a very eerie feeling to go back and listen to this album after RP Takeoff. After Takeoff passed away, man, it's hard to go back and really celebrate some of the stuff they was talking about because it was just, you know what I mean, a lot of violence and flat out ignorance. But what was the Migos before that? Migos is going to be the Migos, and they did their fucking thing on this album. And I'm going to say the Migos. I know I got Quavo and Takeoff on here. That's how it officially is, but this is a very good album. I think it was missing, of course, Offset. The only thing it was really missing for it to be like top tier. But this was this album gave me very much a TLC match. Like them niggas was bringing out all the stops. There's a tag team, and these niggas is definitely the Hardy Boys on this album. Unfortunately, just like the Hardy Boys, some of their moves will definitely hurt themselves. You know what I mean? You doing the move, you gonna get the big bang, the flash, and all that stuff, but at the end of the day, you might hurt your back. Unfortunately, that's kind of what this lifestyle that they were trying to put out in this album, that's what it leads to. And it was no good ending from a great album like this. This is a great album, but at what consequence? Like, we can't keep losing people because the music's good, like, or the facade is there. But clap it up for the Migos. I'm gonna say the Migos. That's what I'm gonna do. Clap it up for them. I know motherfucking Nego. Clap it up for that. And yeah, we are in the top. We ain't in the top 10, but we are definitely in Kush zone. Kush zone, and then like this is another album that I was able to really live with. This came out early this year, and if you don't know who Nego is, then you don't know Nego. But what does that nigga Nego do? I think he made like Bape or some shit. But all the niggas that fuck with him, and he made these little ducks, whatever this duck brand is. He did that, but he had all the basic niggas that you would think be with Bape or these duck niggas. He had like Pharrell, Pusha T, Tyler the Creator, Uzi, ASAP. You know what I mean? That real wavy lane. And it gave me that mixtape feel where the mixtape is polished and very much a texture. Very much just very hard music for the flamboyant niggas. I'm gonna, for lack of a better term, the flamboyant niggas is going crazy on this album. Clap it up. Come on. My standouts on here definitely Tyler the Creator. Kid Cudi was on this album. Let me go through the list. Hold on. Let me pull up Spotify. I know Nego. That song "Come On Girl, Let's Go" was on here. What? Man, I know Nigo probably could have been a little bit higher if Nigo was an actual person and I knew. I mean, he is an actual person, but I'm talking like an actual artist. But we got Punch Bowl by the Clips. He had a Clips feature, the whole Clips. Gunna was on here. ASAP Ferg. This was one. This was one for real. Clap it up for Nigo. Uzi. Clap it up. Shots. Oh man. Uzi will forever be one of my favorite persons or people in the world. Just because he's just very much himself, and that's what we get. There's no kind of filter. There's no kind of translation. It's nothing lost in translation when you get a good Lil Uzi project. We are getting the energy that Lil Uzi wants us to see, and I love that because it is all positive. It is all very much masculine energy. This man is just like, nigga, I might be doing this shoulder roll, but nigga, I'm me, nigga. And I think Uzi took it upon himself on this tape to really just look at himself as a man and be like, can I outdo myself? And you see I don't know if you can see, but you got all of his previous tapes on the wall right here. It's a clear message that this man is trying to outdo himself, and he did that with this album. This album, from top to bottom, it felt like an old Uzi tape, but it was like new Uzi. And people do get caught up on the whole like, oh, I miss the old you, which is kind of like a funny area for Uzi because Uzi is all about new shit. I would say, like, he's a very futuristic rapper. So for niggas to like really want that old sound and him to be able to deliver that and it still feel fresh, that's the mark of what I want from people. I want people to be in their own lane and deliver to their fans what they can deliver. Clap it up. Top 10 that I love Uzi. And I would say this could have been a little bit higher if, because it was just like when it came from, this was official mixtape, I believe. But when it came to Spotify, it was missing a couple of tracks. And I was like, oh, man, I can't play the whole shit. Nigga, this is kind of hard for me to put it as an official album, but eventually, everything did come to the DSPs, and I really do appreciate this from Uzi. This was his best work in a very long time. Clap it up one more time. Duke motherfucking Deuce. Nigga, I ain't gonna clap it up. I'm gonna say some shots, nigga. This is easily my personal favorite album of this year. As far as like Crunk Star by Duke Deuce, it gave me the same energy that Crunk Juice from Lil Jon had, where it was certain songs on Crunk Juice that if you played it, it wasn't no kind of questioning what type of mood you was in. It wasn't no questioning like the energy. That no, this is it. It's very hard to ignore this. This ain't one of the songs that you looking at your phone when it come on. This is like, all right, let me stand against the wall and get ready for whatever is about to go down. And Duke motherfucking Deuce. He had plenty of that on Crunk Star. As you can see, I'm even hyped right now thinking about that album. Just Say That, Glorilla, Hell No, it's Slimeroni, Gloss Up, all. Oh, come on, man. We talking about a real Memphis legendary run going on right now. Talking about Duke motherfucking Deuce with Crunk Star. And I was doing my research for this album, and I was very much taken aback to see that this number, the number of plays that he had for this is not that high. I'm like, damn, nigga, I must not really know about music, or I'm just a little too different. But let me see. Crunk motherfucking Star. Like, if you go and look on Spotify to look at the plays, like some of them don't even have the number listed beside them because it's probably just so low. Like, highest amount of songs is about 3 million. And that's still good. Clap it up for Duke Dukes, man, getting them numbers regardless. But I don't know. I put him on such a large plateau that maybe he's just not there in the eyes of everybody else. But, man, I fucking love me some Duke Deuce. I ain't gonna front. That is the energy. That was my whole energy this year. Like, nigga, rage. But clap it up one more time, Duke Deuce. Jeezy! And yo, Drake dropped both his nuts on your face this year. He put one nut in the dance hall, and then one nut straight hip hop, nigga. But he put both them nuts on you this year. And honestly, never mind. That might be one of Drake's best. I don't know how to describe it, but Drake be having like B-side albums, or like albums where it's like, this is not going to be the biggest hits, but if you throw this shit on at any time, bro, you gonna feel good. You gonna feel good if your setting is perfect. Honestly, never mind. That's gonna be the one right there, and it's gonna keep the party going way longer than any of this other bullshit. Another good one to throw on shuffle. But also, this is a good vacation album. I didn't take any trips this year. Now, I'll say that was my one downfall, is that I didn't get to experience this abroad, or just like, you know what I mean, at the beach with that water on your butthole. You know what I mean? You know that feeling, that when your butthole soaked. That's that feeling that this album gives. Like, nigga, I'm up. Just ate. I'm about to take me a good ass nap. My butthole is wet. Clap it up for Drake. This was his first entry into my list. Pause. Probably one of the biggest, boldest statements of his career was this one. So clap it up. Clap it up for Future. Hey, yo, I'm honestly just really proud of how good this album is. Not to say that there's a certain plateau that street artists, quote unquote, or just like trap music reaches. Future does have a demographic that he does have to feed, but he did a really good job on feeding everybody on this album. I'm talking about, man, Wait For You is the biggest song of this whole year. I gotta say that. And that was everybody's shit. But Future just like, man, leaves me speechless, because the level of toxicity is always going to be there, even if he's not 100% living that lifestyle. I know he said he recently said he wants to get married, but that's not going to stop in the music. You know what I mean? We saw where people say that his recording sessions are demonistic, but if that's what it takes to bang out good music like this, Future, man, you did your job on this one. Clap it up. Future. And we're gonna go down the track list. We're gonna see. That man Future, man. That man said, "Damn, I'm in a Rolls Royce with a blindfold on, matching my suit," which means like, damn, how prepared you got to be to have like, all right, I'm about to wear a suit, but I'm gonna get driven around, and I need a blindfold that matches that suit. Like that's some deep level rich nigga shit. Hard ass intro, 7:12 p.m. Boom, hard intro. I'm that nigga. Boom, keep it burning. Four nut, puffing off Zooties, gold stacks. Wait for you. Love you better, massaging me, chickens. We just want to get high. Like, come on, Voodoo. I ain't said not one bad song yet. Like, I'm on one with Drake. Come on, man. This is a good album. And very much to back to rare form Future. Where it's like, I think sometimes like these street artists or these trapper artists, they gotta be like, damn nigga, you really not hot no more like you was before. Like that's one thing they gotta really live by is like, nigga, am I the hottest? And that's just not fair to judge somebody and be like, damn nigga, you not as hot as you once were. But Future clearly just proved that he is. Album's crazy. Good quality music. I would hope the Future is just like living a healthy lifestyle and just cultivating these toxic albums, but not really living it. But excuse me. It would appear that he's full-fledged living this shit. Yeah, I don't get no kind of fakeness or faking the funk from this at all. This man is really doing his shit in these streets. Clap it up for Future. Mama! And then we got Pusha T. Clap it up for man. Clap it up, Pusha T. I will say that his whole claim of this year was that he had album of the year. And as you can see right now, he's number 6 on my list. He has very much earned the claim to one of the best albums this year. But I feel like it lost a little bit of the steam. It didn't really. It was just too much of like, all right, you got 2 producers. I got this sound I'm going with and this other sound I'm going with. How hard is it to do that? Like I know it's hard because it's like you got Kanye West and Pusha T producing your album, but those are also 2 of your best friends. I ain't gonna say best friends, but very good friends. People that you got business with, and I'm pretty sure it's not hard to get 6 beats from Kanye if you Pusha T. I'm sure it's not hard to get 6 beats from Pharrell if you Pusha T. So it very much does come off as plug and play. Like, all right, let me get these beats and I'm gonna just rap my ass off. So I would say that's the one downfall that I do have about this album. But other than that, if I had no kind of recollection of who was producing this, or if it was just like an uncredited album where it's just like, all right, these the beats I got, I'm going in, I might look at it differently. But if I just be like, all right, like LeBron was like, I need Russell Westbrook and Anthony Davis. Let's make it happen. I'll even put Carmelo in there, and it works. It shit don't work. It did not work. It's not working. But everyone wants to dream and build these fantasy scenarios where it does work. And I would say that this album did work. Get 2 hot producers, put them together, and let me rap. That is what this album is, and It earned the number 6 spot for a reason. Clap it up. Number 5. And this album was, we in top 5 territory. Clap it up for the Kush zone. We in the Kush zone now. This was very much just an album that was like, damn, nigga, if your money is not up, do not come outside. This is what Her Loss was like. Like, I was definitely in the house. I was like, nope. Can't be out with this energy. And this was like literally a week after Takeoff died. Had a lot of Houston influence. So it was very just much a little spooky. This was a spooky album. But this was like what Drake really needed. This was like Drake at his most venomous. Is that the word? This Drake got the most venom on this album. These are venomous bars. Very snake-like. Like, he's saying shots at Meg Thee Stallion, Serena Williams' husband. Like, what? Like, name dropping. But I would say this is the most savage that he's went, and I got to give a lot of that to 21 Savage. So clap it up for him. Not a single song is under 30 million plays. So take that as you must. You know what I mean? Not a single song out of 16 songs. Not a single one is under 30 million on Spotify. I will say this did kind of lose a little bit of steam with me. Because like I can only do so much toxicity. I can only do so much. And then it's like one of my favorite songs and it was Broke Boy. And I'm a broke boy. Like I can't be just sitting there listening to this song and just be broke. So clap it up for Drake. Clap it up for 21 Savage. This is a very high caliber rap album. Steve fucking Lacy, man. This was one of the most organic albums for me. Like, I don't think that he went into making this album with any intention to be like, all right, I'm about to play the TikTok games and become number one and get this whole new fan base. I don't think that's what his intentions was with how beautiful this music came out. There's no way that you was like, all right, I'm about to play the TikTok game. But unfortunately, that's what happened. And I liked this album enough before, what was it, Bad Habits blew up. But once Bad Habits went viral, it was just very hard for me to like, damn. I was just very much, I got it after that. I got the whole album after that. I was like, damn, this nigga is a superstar. Like I'm very familiar with Steve Lacy from the internet. So with his background with them, you might be like, all right, well, he's just like a little band nigga. Or the nigga, I don't know. But this album, Gemini Rights, puts him in a different lane as far as like superstardom. He's a rock star. This man is sexy. Pause. That nigga say he looking for a bitch because he over boys. Nigga, come on, man. That's hard shit right there. Clap it up for Steve Lacy. Number 4 for a reason. This was probably the most what I look for like in a very good album is something I used to get from Michael Jackson, like Off the Wall or Thriller. It's 9 good songs. It's not playing a streaming game where I'm getting 30 songs. I'm getting 9 of your best songs at this time. Take it or leave it. And I appreciate that. Clap it up for Steve Lacy. Now we getting into the unrestricted UFO area. You know what I mean? And then this is a little bit of personal bias because I don't expect everyone out there to have listened to Donda 2. But Donda fucking 2. I would have liked to see a more polished version of this album, as similar to what he did with Donda 1, where we got 3 different stadium shows, each of which the album just kept progressing. We got that one first shitty Donda 2 show, and then it just came out. It was like, all right, well, the whole concept was like, all right, we're going to live listen and critique and adjust the album. I would say that the first listen to this, or the live stream of this, was just so horrible and shitty. But you know what I mean? That's live TV. It might happen. There were audio issues. There were cue issues. It was just a lot of things that went wrong with the actual listening party of this. So the first impression of this was not that good. But if you got your hands on the rough drafts of Donda 2, you need to know that this man Kanye West, his rough drafts are better than half of this list. Like, literally got number 3 off of rough drafts. And that's one thing that I don't think most people really pay attention to Kanye after the headlines, or even during the headlines. Because if I was like any other Kanye fan, I just looked at that first initial show, I'd be like, what the fuck is this? But once I got my hands on this Donda 2, and I live with this shit, this was some good shit. This was just unfiltered, unedited, unpolished. This is just like, if you need the link, I'll send it to you. I'll send you the link, and you can be like, damn, nigga, this is not good music. But very much was like some stuff I lived with. I lived with this album. I had to bootleg this album. This is one of the last time I bootlegged the album. If I gotta go through all that to listen to your album, that means that I want to hear your album. I want to keep listening to it. Donda 2 did it for me. Clap it up. And this is where things get wobbly. You know what I mean? For weeks, I've been saying that this is undisputed the number 1 album on my list. For weeks, maybe even months. Let's just say months. I've been pushing Dawn FM as the number 1 album of this year. Breaking news, it is number 2. So yeah. Number 2. All right. Well, I can't really explain why it's number 2 until I tell you number 1, but I'm gonna just say this was a personal favorite for me because it was just like very much a for lack of a better term, this is a morbid album. It talks about transitioning in life. I did have recently this year my mother did pass away. So I would say that this was the album that really just helped numb the pain. This was very much an album that helped numb the pain. Like, Get your bottle and listen to this shit if you hurt, nigga. And then you can live in that numb feeling, that numb place. Like this album made it comfortable for me. I would say that the reason that it's not number one for me is just because it had a very much it was a lot of wasn't enough exposure of this album, and I think that's too the fault of the Weeknd. Weeknd did kind of boycott certain things where you need these things if you this superstar. Can't boycott the Grammys. You can't. I don't know if it was something with Billboard, but it was mainly the Grammys. The Grammys, he discredited them. And for lack of a better term, like he is blackballed right now. The Weeknd is blackballed. For this album to be as good as it was and nobody hear it, nigga, I'm sorry. There's some sort of collusion going on. Somebody got pissed off. For him to come off of the After Hours in the Dawn FM, man, come on. And then allegedly his tour was cut short because he lost his voice. Somebody literally took his breath away. So I just need to know more about the rise and fall of Dawn FM, because this is literally, I don't know, After Hours was that shit. But these are 1A and 1B when it comes to Weeknd albums. This Dawn FM, clap it up, man. Come on, that's just crazy. That album is crazy. Is it time for number one? Oh no, we're gonna do a recap before we go back to number one. We're gonna do a recap. Clap it up for the recap. Bike at the bottom, back at the bottom. We got motherfucking Hubert, Absol, 21 SZA, the baby in YBNBA. What is Young Boy NBA? Nigga, you gotta, what is your real name? Because I can't just be like, damn, this is just a lot going on. But number 22, Better Than You. I'm gonna just say the baby. Clap it up. Number 19, Young Nudie. Young Nudie, East Atlanta Monster. Nah, I mean, I need to dig back into that one. Pause. 18, Baby King. The Melodic Blue. $17, 777, Big Lotto. Big Lotto. I need some eye drops. Eyes is mad dry. All right. Number 16, Breezy. See Breezy. 15, DJ Khaled. 14, 070 Shake. Gunna Wanna. I'm gonna hit this sound for you because
you're a victim.
Unfortunately, you're in a bad spot. You know what I mean? That's why you get the unlucky number 13. But clap it up for Gunna.
You're a victim.
Migo. Migo. My voice cracking. Number 12, Offset. Quavo and Takeoff, man. Come on, man. Man. This shit sucks. Because I think this is an album that should have definitely it was going to be more promotion put behind that album, but unfortunately, half of the album is dead. Other half is crying, not crying, but he's upset about it. He's a recluse. So I personally will say that this album will probably go on to be one of the more legendary albums out of this. One of the more spooky albums. It's a very spooky album if you think about some of the stuff that Takeoff was saying. But clap it up, number 12. Number 11, I know Nigo. Nigo! Lose my voice, oh Lord. Number 10, Uzi. Number 10, we got Uzi with the red and white tape. And then, like, that's even dope because his album was supposed to be the pink tape. So you get red and white before that, and then you blend it all up and get the pink tape. Man, come on. Duke motherfucking Bruce, Clark Star. Drake, honestly, never mind. I never liked you, Future. I never liked you. Let me go ahead and spark the blunt up. Cause, oh man, I gotta break it down for Future again. Cause Future, I will say that his album is more of like, if I just really had to have some sort of personal bias, his shit is hard. Pause. But it just very much is like, I love a good redemption story. I love comebacks. I love when people be like, all right, I ain't fell off, nigga. You just might not be listening, but watch this. Number one song in the world with Tim's. Clap it up for Future. That's number 7. Then we ain't even top 5 yet. Number 6, Pusha T. Clap it up. I can't be having my blunt not hitting on camera. Let me get my blunt right. While I do that, Pusha T, I do appreciate you. The run that you went on for this album, the promo run, as far as like every time we see you saying this is the best album. Like most niggas want to be like, hey, like my video, comment on my shit. Niggas won't say that. So for you to say, yeah, this is the best album, that does a lot as far as like, if I don't think it's the best album and you keep saying it, I might just go back and listen to it. So it is just putting yourself out there. This is very much the most promoted album of the year. I would say that you did a good rollout. Great rollout. Rollouts are changing. They're getting more complicated and they're more realistic, more messy. Like, unfortunately, the best rollout was the Migos album after Takeoff died. Like, I didn't. There was no album that was promoted that made me go and listen to it as fast as I did after that shit happened. So, but if you got organic promotion like Pusha T do, you know what I mean? I can't do nothing but applaud that. It's something that's missing from the game because you got, you know what I mean, Beyonce just dropping out of nowhere thinking it's like, all right, well, I can just drop the songs. And that is not the case for everybody. You got to sell the product. And if you just like, man, this shit ain't work the first day and just give up, nigga, that's weird. That's weirdo shit. And Pusha T is not a weirdo. He is a salesman. It wasn't a time this year that I did not see him promoting this album. I want more artists to do that. Pusha T probably could have got a better spot If it wasn't for just the two producers. Like I think that was just like the real cheat code that you had. I was like, all right, well, how good is this album? And the whole blunt not hitting on live that's crazy. Number 5, clap it up. There's gotta be a hole in this shit or something. I'm gonna say like, I need superlatives. I need superlatives to like give niggas their flowers. I don't think anybody dropped a hotter album than Drake and 21 Savage this year. This was definitely the hottest album. Maybe SZA, but I mean SZA got her spot. Oh, there's definitely a hole in it. There you go. All right, there we go. We cooking with steam now, but I would say that this was the most hot album where it's like, damn, nigga. Drake and 21 Savage. Nobody girl was safe for the rest of the year. Your girl was off limits for you. Like Drake and 21 Savage took them. Man, this blunt is a wobbler. I ain't gonna front. Let me see. Clap it up for Drake. We're gonna figure that out, but we coming up on the number 1 song. Number 4, Steve Lacy. Got the super ugly clap. The super ugly clap for Steve. Another Gemini. We got motherfucking Ye. Donna 2. I might have to re-roll this shit. Like, damn, this shit is really just. All right, anyway. Donna 2. I wanted to give this the number 2 spot just for, he dropped it on 222. Or it just fit better on the number 2 spot. But I was like, I can't just keep doing shit just to be doing it. The list has to have integrity. You feel me? Number 2, my number 1 album. I ain't gonna front. Like I probably need, the next time I do this, I need some more decisive rules. I need there to be real rules. So that way it's not any kind of personal bias, but just enough personal bias to where this is my list. Dawn FM is my number 1, but I wouldn't be right. I would not be right. Clap it up for number 1. Kendrick Lamar. Keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers is number motherfucking 1. Number 1 as far as like, damn. I gotta really just sit back and just, some of this stuff makes me analyze my life. I ain't gonna front. If an album can make me analyze my life, and more specifically just my time, or just like, I'm gonna get to a point with this. Like when he came out with To Pimp a Butterfly, I had the most time to myself. This is the most that I listened to music. This was right before streaming, so I had so much freedom to really digest an album. So to come to this album, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, I do not have the same amount of time. I do not have the same amount of time. And then we are now in the streaming era where it's like a lot more music. I don't have the same patience that I had when I was listening to Pimp a Butterfly. That used to be what I used to clean the house to up every time. Pimp a Butterfly. Like, I honestly just need to really look and reflect on if I'm a real music fan, because I didn't have the time to really listen to this album. This is a double disc disked out, but I would say that any time that I tried to listen to this album, it just was like, I don't know. I really hate these long ass albums, bro. There's no time to really vibe out no more. I need to vibe all the way out. But I would just say, like, looking back at this album when I did my research for this video, it made me appreciate this album more, because it's like, damn, I maybe didn't just sit down and just waste all my time listening to the album. But as I went through each of these songs, I was like, damn, I really did like this shit. I liked all of it. It may just be some of the wordplay that I just didn't like. It's kind of like Jay-Z. Like, when I first started listening to Jay-Z, I wasn't picking up on everything he say, but if I have the time to go back and just keep listening, I'm going to pick up something each and every time. So I think that's what this album will be for me going into the future. I don't expect Kendrick to be dropping any albums anytime soon, so I do have to just really reflect on this album and take it for what it is, as opposed to just like, all right, it came and went. No, it didn't. It didn't come and go, because this is high caliber music. When I was doing my list, I'm gonna put out the brainstorming for this list. This was very much on the bottom of my list for the longest. But as I'm listening, I'm going up the list, like album by album. It's like, this is better than that. This is better than that. This is better than all of that. Unfortunately, like, this album was really that good. Kendrick Lamar is that good. He's that poised. Is the word poised? Meticulous and patient. You know what I mean? But clap it up. That is it. That is the top 22 albums. Top 22 albums of 2022. I am your host, Rolex. This was the most difficult thing for me to do. Like, I'll be looking at like my graphics and all this shit. You know what I mean? It should look cool. You know what I mean? It should look, you know what I mean? It's polished and all. But nigga, this is difficult. Look at this. Who can you do all that? No, you can't do all that. I can though. I did this. It took me maybe a month to do it all, but as far as the graphics and all the wordage and the list making, maybe a week. But I'm gonna clap it up again. Much success to everybody on this list. Everybody that didn't make this list. But that's it. This year is over. The year is over. And if you didn't learn anything from this list, get your album in before December if you want me to really listen to it. I will go back and fix this blunt that was given out on me. But I want all artists to go back and work on that music. Because honestly, if I had to give this year a grade, I would say, like, yeah, it was mad mid. I ain't gonna front. Like, Beyonce dropped, and Beyonce definitely did not make my list. Who else dropped? Didn't Adele drop? Or I think Adele might have been last year, but like, mad albums came and went. They didn't hold any kind of real estate in my ears. It was like come and go music. I can't keep doing this, especially when you got somebody like Rihanna that's not even making music. So it becomes a point where it's like it's not profitable to even make this music. But if you're going to do it to your best of your abilities. Do it like you care. Do it like you hungry. I think this whole list was very hungry this year. Because if you didn't even put out some work, that says that you are hungry, ready to go, and willing for, you know what I mean, the Rolex criticism. Rolex! Clap it one more time. Number one album, Kendrick Lamar. Number one. Number one for a reason. Again, like, comment, subscribe. Do as you please, but again, do it for me. This is your boy Rolex. Rolex! We out this bitch.